Hi friends, welcome to the Plain Fun RC channel. I'm your host Saul. We're here at Warbirds and Classics over Fredericksburg. We've got Mr. Thomas White preparing to bring the B-29 out. He's been gracious enough to bring it out into the sun. And I just want to get some video of him doing this because you can see just how big the aircraft is in relation to these two gentlemen here. You have Mr. Thomas White there in the hat and the brown khakis. And you have Gunny on the right. Gunny is a fantastic aircraft designer, and you'll actually see, if you go on the channel, search for Cessna 185. He is the designer of the 185 kit that you can purchase. But look at the size of this plane, folks. He literally has to walk it out little by little just to get it out. Folks, this is stunning. It really is absolutely stunning. I wish you were here to see this, but we're gonna take a moment to interview Mr. Thomas White. All right, friends, sit tight. Don't go anywhere. We've got a really special treat. We're gonna do an interview with Master RC Restorer Thomas White. Stay tuned. Friends, continue our coverage here. Warbirds and Classics 2025 over Fredericksburg. We've got here Mr. Thomas White from Capenburg, West Virginia.
Close
Thomas, okay, all right. Thank you so much for being with us, Thomas. Thomas, let me just say, you have done the amazing thing of grabbing buying and restoring an iconic piece of model aviation. Tell us a little bit about the plane. How did it come into your possession?
So my son has always wanted a B-29. First real airplane he ever saw was Fifi when we lived in Florida. And ever since then, he had been basically bugging me yearly to build a big B-29. I showed him a couple of YouTube videos of Mac Hodges' B-29 routine, and he said he wanted that B-29, which I told him was probably highly unlikely because that airplane had crashed. So I emailed Mac asking if the landing gear was still around with the potential of just scratch building our own. And Mac basically said not only did the gear exist, but so did the airplane. So after a conversation between Mac and the guy who had possession of the airplane, I got that gentleman's information, and after a couple-hour phone conversation, we ended up striking a deal. And about a week and a half later, we went down there and picked up the airplane, and pretty much what it looked like when it left Warbirds over Delaware on its last flight roughly 10 years ago.
Walk us through, if you will, what areas, come on over here to the plane, walk us through what areas on the plane were severely damaged when you purchased the aircraft.
So when we got the airplane, it honestly it looked like a B-29. It was in its original configuration of the outer wing panels being removable between the nacelles. As you can see here on the seam, that's how it was originally built. And the tail had been glued back on because the entire tail section, about 8 to 10 inches in front of the horizontal stab, had been ripped off the rest of the fuselage. And the right horizontal stabilizer was completely just in multiple pieces and unusable. But when we received it, a new foam core had been applied onto the right side of the stab, and the wing center section here had been broken from about the fuselage to about the trailing edge at an angle. But it was more or less all glued back together to where you could put it back together and it looked like a B-29. But that was about it. Like, all the structural stuff was still to be done.
So all told, from the time that it came to your house until the day that you actually said, we're done.
Yep.
We've got it balanced, he's ready to go.
Okay.
What was that time span, would you say?
We picked the airplane up about the second week of February of 2024. It sat in storage for about 3 months until pretty much the end of April, beginning of May of 2024. And from that point on, it was a mad dash for about 9 months to get the airplane done. Now,
from the time the plane crashed from Warbirds over Delaware until you actually purchased it, how long did it lay in that damaged state?
About 10 years.
About 10 years.
About 10 years, roughly.
Unbelievable. And you went through, and the enhancements, come on around here with me, Thomas. Yeah. The enhancements that really, I mean, obviously you see just gorgeous work, but the enhancement that pops, the enhancement that stands out is that amazing metalwork. Talk to us, if you will. Stand over there, if you will. Sure. Tell us all about that amazing metalwork you've got here.
So a lot of people expect it to be painted. There is some paint on the airplane. All the black is paint. The silver on the middle of the wing is all paint. But the bare metal look is kind of something that you don't see very often. A lot of people either expect it to be paint or they expect it to be flight metal. I love working with flight metal. It's a great product, but it's not the nicest material to work with on really tight compound curves like the tips here or the nacelles. So I decided to try a different tactic in using chrome vinyl, which I picked up off of Amazon. It's about $15 for 15 feet or so. And in order to get this nice brushed aluminum look, I just took a red Scotch-Brite pad, laid the panel on top of a piece of glass, and just started scuffing the panel with the Scotch-Brite pad until I was happy with the look.
And it looks like you alternated panels there,
Yep.
sort of to give it that sort of weathered look, if
Correct.
you will.
Correct. And so for a panel like this one here, I would cut a nice large one, and then I would just scuff it in whatever direction I wanted, and then I would outline where it was going to be with some thick vinyl tape, apply it, go around with an X-Acto knife to cut it to size, remove the excess, and go to the next panel, and just alternate the look of the brushing. That way it gives you a different kind of, gives each panel its own look from a distance. Because if you would have done them all in the same direction, it would have just looked like a silver airplane.
Fantastic.
So,
well, you did an incredible job. And the history of this plane, we chatted briefly, the history of the plane, it goes back to the 90s, really, as you mentioned, because there was a gentleman who built actually just a 14-foot span version, passed away, got to pilot extraordinaire Mac Hodges.
Yep.
And then Mac crashed it. You mentioned the wing folded in flight.
Correct.
And then that year later, he had built this plane. Am I correct?
he built the first version of this airplane. So there's been two 20-foot B-29s that Mac has done. This is the second one and the only one that exists anymore. The first one, I believe, it crashed due to a wing coming off in flight. I think they forgot to put the wing bolts in. And then right after that, they immediately built this airplane, more or less. And that's where we're at now.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, my friend, you have done a stellar job. And folks, I'm going to stay right there.
Yep.
You can see the sheer size of this aircraft. Folks, you know, the video doesn't do it justice. And I, as a modeler of literally over 50, almost coming on 50 years now, is just floored by this. This is an iconic aircraft in the way that we think of Bob Hoover and his Aero Commander. This aircraft is very much the same, and we have master restorer Thomas White to thank for this. Thomas and his son back there who's just giving us a gentle wave.
He likes
Thomas and Thomas Jr., thank you so very much.
Oh, thank you.
All right, friends, more to come.